Hello, and welcome back to Money with Mac and G. We have a special guest with us here today. His name is Sam Strausbaugh. Now, he's a real family man out there, but when we talk about money, he is the president of Foundry Mezzanine Opportunity Fund here in Indianapolis, which is a private equity $30 million fund. He's the CEO of his own investment firm called Confluence Investments, which invests in microcaps and is approximately $5 million. And lastly, he has his own personal private equity investing portfolio, which has 6 equity holdings and 3 commercial real estate holdings. We'd like to welcome today Sam Strausbaugh. How you doing, Sam?
I'm doing great. All right. This is going to be fun. Looking forward to it.
Well, good. And we have our sidekick. We have Ed McMahon over here. Tony Petrosciani.
And you forgot to tell that one of his biggest holdings.
Yes, is?
He has like 17 Peloton bikes.
Yeah.
No. We just talked about this today. I have 4. I have 2 bikes and 2 treads.
Do you have to pay like $60 a month for each one of those subscriptions?
Nope. One subscription for all 4. So.
Now, is it true, like when you're riding, do you get to see like different landscapes that you actually ride on, or is it only the instructor?
No, at Peloton, it's only the instructor. I think they have an app or a section where you can go and look at landscapes, but
it doesn't interest you.
No.
The attractive younger people interest you.
Yes. Yes, that's correct.
Well, good to know. Good to know. Well, we always start out these things with a little question out of the magic fishbowl. You want to grab the magic fishbowl? You can hold it up in front of the camera if you want. And just say, hey,
here it is.
Then reach in there and let's see what you got, because
we had read them first or no?
You can read it out loud.
Grab it.
No, you were actually going to put it back. Stop that. So Tony had a great one. Kobe had a great one.
This is not a good one.
If it's a really bad one, I think Tony and I can veto and we can start over. What is it?
What were you like in high school?
I think inquiring minds want to know that one. Because I think this goes to your story. First of all, I think you probably better tell where you're from, because one of the things that we talk about here is the fact that you don't have to be born into money to be good at managing money and to grow wealthy. And so I think your story is very unique in that respect, and we've talked about it a number of times. So I would love to hear just a little bit more about
So do you want me to go back to the beginning?
Not the beginning, but you can say where you were born. And
back when the black and white TV?
Yeah, exactly. I'm from Northwest Ohio originally. Grew up in a little town, Deschler, Ohio.
Deschler?
The Corn City.
All right.
Write that down, both of you.
That's the only city in America known as the Corn City?
Probably not.
Is that where they built cornhole and you kind of did that?
Yeah. No.
All right. No.
Probably not.
Wait, here's how you test to see if he's really from Ohio.
How's that?
O-H.
I-O.
There you go.
O-H-I-O. Yeah, you do. You are a fan.
Good job.
You are a fan. We know when to stay away from Sam in the office, don't we?
That's right.
That happens.
That's right. Okay, what was I like in high school? Grew up in Northwest Ohio in a little town called Deschler. We moved when I was in high school to a very small town called Arcadia, Ohio. I graduated with 40 or 42 other kids. I think my class rank was 38th. So,
and your family was like crazy wealthy, right?
No,
that's right.
No,
they weren't.
No, we weren't.
Was it like, were you on the poor, or were you just right in the middle? Where were you?
Well, it's a long story. I don't want to get into too much of it. But my dad and my mom got married when they were young. They had 4 kids. I was the 4th of those 4 children, and my dad died when he was very young. He was 32 years old. I was not yet 2 years old.
Wow.
He was an attorney, but had only practiced for a couple years. So
sure.
My mom then was set up with 4 children, no training, no job. So we were not wealthy, did not have money. She then remarried, I forget what it was. He died in 65. I think she remarried in 68 or 69. So 3 or 4 years later.
So kind of a challenging, childhood, if you will. You don't know because you're 2, but you've got a mother that doesn't really have the skills to really lead the family to where it needs to go. Go ahead.
That's right. Yeah. But she did go out and she got a job in an insurance company. Actually, I think, let me back up. She did not get a job in an insurance company. My dad had an insurance company in his law firm, and she took that over and ran it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
To keep us
fed
in clothing and food and shelter.
Absolutely.
Then she remarried, married a man. Then they had one child, my younger brother.
Gotcha.
So there were the 5 of us, and he was a corporate pilot. So we weren't poor. We were poor after my dad died for a number of years, but we weren't poor. Middle class, never.
But educated, and you're probably being taught some really good Midwestern values, work hard, and some stuff like that, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
So then you get into high school, and what were you like in high school? Do you want to not remember it?
I want to know.
No.
No, I really want to know.
I was a jock.
Oh, were you? Okay.
Yes. I was a basketball player, football player, probably way, way too arrogant for my own good and for no real good reason.
You were the best person in a town of 100. Got it.
That's right. And I was 38th in the class rank of 42, if you remember.
Almost.
I will hold that over you. Your new 38 is your
He's
new name.
almost in the top 90%.
That's right. Almost.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're rounding.
Yes, we're rounding.
I'd like to consider it the bottom decile.
Ooh.
The bottom decile. Well, it sounds big.
Yeah.
People don't necessarily understand this. And this is where Tony usually says when Ben left Purdue, he went to IU, and the IQs went up in both places.
You're ruining it.
I know. I tried to cut it out.
You wanted to get out in front of you.
So you're a jock.
I was.
Kind of well liked, or you kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would
That's all
say,
good.
I don't know, you'd have to ask the other kids in my class. But again, remember I was arrogant, so
That's
I probably
right.
thought everybody liked me, and they didn't.
Absolutely.
I was a basketball player, loved to play basketball, football player, but again, small school.
And what small school? You said 42.
I graduated with 42
So what,
kids.
about 150 people? 160, 200?
Yeah, less
whatever.
than 200 in the whole high school.
Gotcha.
Just really small town. So I was, I don't know, just a regular kid.
Regular Joe.
We grew up on a farm, so there was farm
There you go.
kind of work.
Mullet?
Yeah, did you?
Oh, did I tell you this story?
No, but
Uh-oh.
you're going to.
This
now.
is good. This is good.
It was glorious.
I've never heard the word used, glorious, with a mullet, but give it to
was
me.
glorious. Short on top, party in the back.
Business on the front.
Yes, business and top, party in the back. And it was I had a perm in back.
No.
It was
That's
awesome.
right. You told me that.
Yes, it was awesome. I want to go back to those days. My wife has said absolutely no chance.
I had an afro in high school.
No, I think I saw a picture.
But it wasn't
really
a perm, it was natural.
It was.
Yeah, mine was not natural at all.
But my wife remembers there was a time that I was working out a lot, so I was kind of buff, and I had my hair down to my shoulders.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember.
And I had spray in bleach.
Oh, God.
So I was doing it. It was so nasty. And the more people complained, the more I just ignored them. And then
The more bleach.
the day, yeah, exactly. And the day that they stopped, harassing me, is like 2 days later, I just cut it all off. And it was just crazy. I got a Harley. I was doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
I love that.
I think it's brilliant. Yeah, I'll have
Yeah.
to show you the picture. I'll have to bring it in. So
I miss the mullet.
So you get through high school, you're sporting your mullet, people are digging you, you're doing really good at, you're putting up 3 points a game at your basketball games.
Well, a lot more than that, by the way.
A lot more than that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
About 24 a game my senior year.
24.
Were you this height in high school?
I was.
Wow. Okay, 24 game. That is
But
impressive.
small school.
Small school, but
My wife and I have this argument. Let me interrupt. I had 39-point game, and she was also a high school basketball player, and I think she had I had a 36-point game, and she had a 39-point game. So we argue over who was the
well,
better
you've
player.
probably never heard this story. So my sister was so impressed that she only missed 2 points on the SAT in math.
Yikes.
And she was poking Tony. Hey, you think you're so smart? Look, I did so great on the SAT. And Tony just kept his mouth shut. And as the story goes, she kept pushing and pushing because that's my sister. And then as the story went, Tony went into the back office, pulled out his score. And do you have any idea what his score was?
Obviously, I do not.
He got perfect on math.
No way. I don't know if we're allowed to fist pump in here, but we just
This is sacred room here. You can do
This pulls out all the viruses. So so that was funny.
No
'cause
way.
Bam, bam, bam.
when I met her mother, his mother.
My mother?
Your mother.
Okay, read it.
And Lori's mother. She goes, so you're the boy that beat her on the math.
It sounds like Mom.
And I said, the man that beat her on the math.
Not the boy
I
anymore.
used to be a boy.
I never said that.
Anybody that gets 650 or below is a boy.
Yeah,
I got
well,
So you
700.
got a
graduated.
perfect score on math?
Yeah, but not on the verbal side. That was
But on
too
that,
hard.
this is the SAT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's big.
800. They call me Mr. 800.
Mr.
They actually don't. And
You're
and like,
38.
And like you,
Yeah.
when I graduated high school, I was 5'8" and 125.
Yeah, you've grown a little.
They wouldn't even let me be the ball boy on any of the sports teams because I was too small.
You got the ball down, or the boy down. Sorry. That's what I meant to say. Hey.
Yes.
So you're coming from the small town,
Yep.
and you're doing pretty good in sports, and you're pretty, what do you call it, proud of yourself. But then you're moving through, and I know that you get into doing the accounting thing, right?
Yep.
So where do you go to college? What do you?
Went to a small liberal arts school in Defiance, Ohio called Defiance College.
And
you
liberal arts,
Yes.
just the wonderful type of school that we talk about today, right?
Yeah.
So, but
Went there actually to play basketball.
okay.
That was really the primary reason.
So how far away is it? Is it like 10 miles from where you live, or 20
no.
miles?
No, an hour.
An hour. Okay.
Yeah, an hour away.
Okay.
I got a quick recruitment story. Me
Do
being
it.
recruited in high school. You guys know Bob Huggins?
Yeah, I remember the name.
Coached at University of Cincinnati and now at West Virginia.
Okay.
Big Ohio name. Recruited me in high school, sent me a letter, said he was coaching at the time at Walsh College in Youngstown, Ohio, or Canton, Ohio. He calls me. I go for a visit. We play because I averaged so many points, and I never heard from him again after he saw me play. So there you go.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Did not like what he saw.
You know, back then they didn't have computer systems, so maybe they just got your name switched.
Well,
And
what they did was they read the paper and said, this kid scores a lot, got him in and said, not as good as I thought he would be. That's what they said. Anyway, so I go to Defiance College.
Did you play?
No. I went to play and didn't make the team because I wasn't good enough.
Wow. Okay.
So
and I think
there you
that's,
go.
But I think that's something to learn, because we keep talking about the fact that you think you're going down one path,
Yeah.
and the reality is you got to pivot, and you always got to pivot, whether it's in business or in life. And so you made this change, and now you're at Defiance College.
yeah, went to play basketball and then
Scholarship?
No, Division III, NCAA Division III. But then went to go on and get my accounting degree.
And why accounting, by the way?
It's just
Just kind of fell into it, maybe?
yeah. My mother taught bookkeeping and accounting in high school. I took the class, liked it, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do. How about accounting?
Because my mom said you could be 5 things, right? And literally an accountant, a doctor, a lawyer, and an engineer or a nurse, because you could be certified in all of those.
Yeah.
So her whole deal is you get a job and then you're off the payroll and I have nothing more to do. But I thought, you're talking about money? All right. A language of business. I'm digging this. So
Right.
this is cool. But you just kind of rolled with it from your mom a little bit?
Yeah, and it was kind of natural for me. It's kind of in my DNA. You find out later, but I liked it. Graduated college, went to a
CPA firm.
CPA firm. Actually, there was a little stop in between. I sold life insurance for a while. Hated it. Hated it. Could not have been worse.
Why not? You just had to talk people? You just
Well,
hated
no, he was selling them products they didn't ever want to use.
That's right. I hated the product. I hated selling life insurance. And here's how much money I made. $0. We lived off of credit cards. It was terrible. And my wife, bless her heart, every Sunday afternoon, she says, have you made your calls for this week yet to set up my appointments? And I'm like, not yet. It was painful.
Tony, I didn't know anybody made less than you their first year after college, because he made, you know how much he made? It's in the prior podcast. Go ahead.
My first year in business, I knew I was going to smoke everybody and make $50,000. And at the end of the year, when we tallied it up, I made $8,000.
Yes.
And as
I
we
would have killed for $8,000.
Right, I
Life
know.
insurance days.
I could have loaned you money.
Yes, you could have.
And as we joked, it's like, for all intents and purposes, you were a complete failure.
I thought I was. Now I know.
For sure.
Yeah, no kidding.
So the
doubt.
show just goes to show that if you're a complete, absolute disaster failure, the more successful in life you'll become.
That's right. Yeah.
So I made a lot of money. I made $28,500 my first year, so that's why I'm behind both of you guys.
Yeah.
But you have this
big,
nice
though.
sound booth now, though.
But I have a sound booth. Yes, that's
wonderful.
right. So I can kill both of you and nobody would actually hear it. So, so you go and you get your accounting degree. You probably get your CPA.
Yep. Shortly after I
Hate insurance, so that's good.
Yeah.
It's good to know what you like and don't like, and then
True.
what happens?
Yeah, I go to a local, small regional local firm in Defiance, Ohio.
Okay.
And just worked there for, let's see, that was late 80s through 92. And just really, I loved that business. I really
Why?
did. It was just something new every day.
Different firm or different company?
Different companies. I did tax work. I did accounting work. I did audit work. So we did a little bit of everything. So there was a bit of a variety. And the senior partner in our firm, this was a small firm. There was 10 people total, 10, 15 total, and maybe only 6 or 7 accounting people. Treated me great.
Were you in the lower decile?
No, I was in the top decile at this firm.
Yeah,
Oh,
baby.
turned it around. That
Which just goes to show school doesn't always indicate.
That's right.
rags to riches.
But you know, one of the things when I was like with Ernst & Young, CPA firm, that I loved is the fact that you do these audits, and it was a little brutal because you do so much like grunt work.
Yeah.
But I learned about just so many different things.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, the one thing that I kept telling people is you're right out of college and you know nothing. You're an idiot.
Yes,
Which
for
I'll
sure.
agree to. And
sure.
I had access to all of the high-level executives at every company I went to. And we're not talking small companies. Eli Lilly in Indianapolis, the CFO, a guy named Arnie Hanisch, if I needed to knock on his door and walk in, he would take me because as an auditor, they wanted to explain things to you to make sure that the audit goes well.
Yeah.
And so for me, I thought that was the fascinating part.
Yeah, and me too. I was going to say on the senior partner put me on, this is a small firm. So
Sure.
there was a lot of boredom type work. Small business, just transactional and really tough to learn a lot.
Okay.
But he put me on the biggest accounts.
Either
know why.
liked you or you're smart
Liked
or whatever.
me, whatever.
You get
Yeah,
along?
I did something well. And I learned a lot. He put me on big manufacturing clients, big construction clients, and I just
So you
kind of
really
grew into that.
So you're really like earning your chops, but in addition to that, you're starting to find out probably, which is what I found out, is that you can work with people.
Yep.
That you can communicate well with them.
Yes.
Which starts to, at least from my perspective, it started to let me know, wow, there's more to this that I can do.
For sure. And I will say, accountants sometimes get a bad rap. Sometimes. Don't laugh.
But there are more CEOs who are accountants or CPAs than any other.
If you have a personality as an accountant, you do get a bit of a boost.
That's the punchline to what's the difference between an actuary and an accountant, a CPA.
Let's hear it.
The actuary just didn't have the personality.
Nice. Nice.
I thought the actuary looks at his own shoes when talking to you, and a CPA looks at your shoes when he's talking to you. Is that right?
That's how the introvert and extrovert programmer.
No, they don't. It's the same thing for accountant and
How can you tell if a programmer's an introvert or extrovert? If they're extrovert, they'll look at your shoes.
Yes, exactly. So you're like learning just a ton because I mean, when I was doing it, I audited an ethanol plant. I audited a what do you call it? Produce wholesaler, drug company. I mean, it was just fascinating. Insurance and
I loved the breadth of it too. This is small town America.
Yeah,
but we had some pretty decently complex customers.
So what usually happens, as you know, is you're getting exposed to all these different companies, and then one of them says, "Man, I like that guy." And he understands our business inside and out.
And he knows that we're keeping 3 sets of books.
That's right.
We have to keep him close.
Yes, we can't let him go. Like the firm.
You're my straight man, because that's what happened.
But that does happen. I mean, I'm not making it up. It happens a lot.
Yeah, and it did happen in this case. Our biggest customer, which was a company called Defiance Metal Products, family-owned, at that time, third-generation business, was on a growth path, and they needed a CFO. Didn't have one.
Didn't have one
up to that point.
Okay.
I mean, this business in 1992 was about $15 million in revenue. And in 1998, when they hired me, they're about $90 million in revenue.
15 to 90, so 6 times bigger. Okay.
And they had a controller, but no CFO. And they really needed that strategic component for growth.
But you were working there.
I was doing the outside accounting work.
Outside accounting work. And then, that's a pretty big jump because, doing the transactional, like looking at the audit or review or compilation or taxes, is very different from, oh my gosh, now I need to run this company, manage cash flow, set the direction, get it going.
Sure. And I tell everybody that I talk to about this, I got a Harvard education at this business.
And I would 100% agree with you.
From 98 to 2011, we had every potential and possible business scenario play out that you could ever think of. We had rapid growth. We were near bankruptcy. We had a cliff event of the economy fall off. We had massive debt added on to the balance sheet, so I raised debt. Just everything.
And people don't understand, like Tony, when we spoke, the types of things you're exposed to. You're a programmer. You're a great guy and everything, but you're a programmer, and now you're running this company, and the kinds of exposures that you're getting is crazy. And for me, I did a lot of internal and external audits, and I was shocked at the things that I was exposed to. But when you're on the inside and getting exposed to those are so crazy valuable.
No doubt.
HR issues, right? Operational issues, debt issues. It just keeps going on and on and on.
And that business is where my appetite was really whetted. Is that a word?
Whetted?
With the H.
W-H? Yeah. Whetted. That's tough to say.
Whetted.
Whetted.
It's not an easy word. For mergers and acquisitions, because the family wanted to expand. I got to use their money, their time.
Which is a huge lesson, right?
Huge.
Because normally you don't have the money, but then actually using somebody else's is fantastic.
OPM.
Other people's money.
Yes, that's right. And we did lots of deals from 98
But like what kind of deals? Like you acquiring other companies?
Yeah, we did. We acquired a manufacturing business in Dallas, Texas. We acquired a business in Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Now, just to be a little bit clear on this, you are a metals manufacturer.
Yep.
And you had told me at one time that the metal that you were putting together was on, the Humvees? Is that right?
That was one of our larger customers, yes.
Okay.
And we're just doing bracketry and weldments and kitting and those kinds of things. We're not.
So not like high tech per se.
Nope. No, it was not high tech, and it was not Class A surfaces. So we weren't.
What the heck does that mean?
Class A surface is you look at a car, shiny.
Oh, okay.
Exterior surface. We're doing the brackets underneath, and
they need to work and they need to hang in there, but they don't need to look pretty.
That's right.
Gotcha.
Functionality more important than looks, and we were not.
So back to the accounting background, the
kind of like you.
Yeah.
Oh, so
and kind of like you, functionality is much more important than looks.
The shiny outside. I love this guy.
I've got to go. Hey, nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, if the camera's still working, go ahead.
It's broken.
What was I saying?
You were saying that it's functionality.
Oh yeah.
And you're doing these acquisitions, and you're picking up different companies. And why are you picking up these companies all around? Because you needed more capacity, or did you just?
Well. We wanted to grow. We didn't.
So if you did more, you could sell more.
Yeah.
Okay.
And our strategy really was breadth of capability and geographic co-locating near big customers.
Okay.
And so we would follow CAT. We followed CAT to Arkansas.
They were in Arkansas? I thought their big one was in Illinois, right?
Well, yeah. They're headquartered in Illinois, but they have a
manufacturing site out in Arkansas.
A big manufacturing site, and they had some problems with some
parts
with some manufacturers down there, some suppliers. So we went there and And we went to Bedford, Pennsylvania for a
all
customer.
these high what do you call it, society
Yes,
things. Because when I did audits, it was always the backwoods of, oh, you're not in New York, you're 4 hours outside of New York.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that's good, though, for manufacturing side.
Yeah. It was. But with that strategy, so we were able to go from flat sheet steel all the way to kitted, painted, assembled parts.
Gotcha. So
and
now
we did everything.
So now you're like growing, and I think if I remember correctly, you went from what was it, 60 million up to 230 million, 90 million to 230.
90 million to 230 million during my tenure there. Yeah.
So you go to college, you get this accounting degree, and you're doing CPA work,
right.
and you're just like, hey, whatever. You kind of fall into this job.
No doubt.
You weren't like in college going, I will be a CFO of a metals manufacturer.
Very true.
You start getting out there. You're interested in what's going on. You start to acquire. You grow this company almost, 3 times, 4 times? And now you're going, wow, this is kind of interesting stuff.
I loved it. I didn't, like you said, I didn't know. When I was at the CPA firm, I really thought that I'd be a CPA all my life. Stay in Defiance, Ohio, raise my 5 kids. It was a great life. Loved it. But this came along and just, I loved it more. The challenges were far greater.
And you were making a difference. You know, you were growing a company, your profitability, changing people's lives. You really were.
Yes, but I will say, and you know, this is cliche and blah, 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 but it's really the people around me.
100% get it.
You know, it's just timing. My timing was just impeccable, and I had nothing to do with that. I just happened to be in Defiance, Ohio, working at the CPA firm when they needed help, and I was there. So, you know, it's kind of like the Malcolm Gladwell book. What's the one?
Blink?
No.
Oh, not the 10,000 hours?
Yes,
yeah,
the 10,000 hour book.
But you and I talk about is like the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yeah, no question. Yeah.
And you are a hard worker because I see what you do. You're just
hard work does pay off, no doubt. But I look back at my life and say, man, I have really been lucky.
But the thing is, though, that
right
I talk
place,
about
right time.
Is exactly, you know, you came from a small town, you know, and you didn't get this crazy big job out of school. You just kind of fell into it. Next thing you know.
Life insurance, remember?
That's right. You almost took your own life while selling life insurance.
I mean, did you push term or whole life? Which one?
Yes.
Yes.
Whatever you want to buy, sir. We'll talk afterward. I have the application in my briefcase.
How about universal?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Actually, the push was whole life because
of course.
Commission rate was a little higher.
Way
crazy.
Up there. Yeah.
If you stuck with it the first 3 years, you got the full commission, and then after that, you didn't care.
Yes, that's right.
Die for all I care. It's good.
That's right.
So now you're seeing some success, and it's kind of funny because you and I talked about it a little bit. I started to see some success, and people go, "Oh my God, how did you do that?" And I thought it was just kind of normal. You see a problem, you fix it, and you move on.
Yeah.
And so you're gaining this success, and then your life starts to change a little bit, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Again, being cliche, the best day of my life, as far as my career goes, I don't want my kids to hear this and think that the best day of my life did not have something to do with them or my wife.
The truth hurts, though, sometimes.
Those obviously were the best days of my life. But the best day of my life and the worst day of my life on my career were the same day. The day I got fired from Defiance Metal Products.
Okay, now this is a great story, right? Can you tell the story? I think you can.
Yeah.
You're driving wherever.
Yeah, we get called. This is private equity owned business now, not the family.
Get ready. You're not going to see this coming.
No, but you're.
Well, this is what's so interesting and why I'm such an idiot, because I should have seen it coming. Private equity guys call us to a meeting at Detroit Metro Airport. They're flying in from the East Coast.
So private equity owns
That's
the company.
Correct.
We got to make
the
sure
family doesn't own it anymore.
So the family sold it. Private equity bought it.
Yep.
You're running it. You're doing this fantastic job.
With another guy.
Yeah.
He and I are kind of co-presidents.
Yep.
Denny Weaver. Great guy, great friend, great mentor. Probably 15, 20 years older than me.
Gotcha.
So the business, we've had all this success through 2009, and then the economy took a crap.
Right.
And our revenue dropped significantly.
Half? 40%? 20%?
We went from
Not disclosed.
we went from 230 to about 175, and then from 175 down to about 155. So not
230 to
half.
155, so you're down 75 on 230, so good 30%.
It's a third. Yeah, it's a third. And we don't need to get into specifics, but that Humvee business we talked about
Right, dried
earlier,
up a lot.
that went down by about 80%. And it was very profitable work. Government work, blah, 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 blah. You get the picture.
Was that when they were switching to the MRAP?
It was. And we did a lot of work on the MRAP as well. Good job.
I don't even know what the MRAP is. Is that some dude named M who raps or what?
No, but close. It is.
Wasn't that V-hold kind of?
It was.
To try to deal with the IEDs blowing up and the damage they were doing the Humvees. They came up with a different design.
Because if it goes straight up, it kills everybody. But if it's split, isn't it kind of ricochets off or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tony did an excellent job
You
of explaining.
rock, T.
That's exactly what it was.
Way to go, TP.
And there were two producers, Navistar.
Yes, heard of Navistar.
And Oshkosh. And we supplied both of
Okay.
those MRAP suppliers. But
anyway, it's dropping off precipitously. And
significantly, we get sideways, private equity and me, over time. But I still think we're holding it together. So we get called up for a meeting. We never have a meeting in Detroit.
I'd like you to come up and maybe have dinner with us and chat a little bit about business.
Right. Yeah. Basically, and I'm like, yeah, all right. I told Ben this the other day. We were driving up, and I'm thinking, Denny's going to get whacked.
you feel so sorry for Denny.
Denny's going to get fired. My partner.
And he's driving.
He's driving. I don't care. I don't even remember who was driving. I think I was driving, but I don't care. I'm just thinking, how am I going to handle this? What am I going to say to him?
Because you got to drive home with him.
He's my best friend. What am I going to say? So we go up there. We're in this meeting, and they call in Denny first and tell him whatever they tell him. And he comes out, and his head's hanging low, and he goes, on the way out, we just passed. He goes, "I'm so sorry, man." And that was it. And I was like, "What?
Wait, what?
What exactly?" I'm like, "Oh no!" I walk in and I sit down. And they go, "We're letting you go. We're going a different direction." I was like, "What?"
What about Denny?
Yeah, I did say, "What are we doing with Weave? Are you changing the whole management team?" He goes, "Oh no, Denny's staying on." I'm like, "All right."
So you got this
See what
company.
the problem is.
It exploded. You did great. You did all these acquisitions. Then it started to turn.
Yeah.
And you're going up there with this guy feeling so bad for him because he's going to get fired.
Right.
And you get whacked.
Yes, it was terrible. And I felt so bad. Because I remember the story I told about being arrogant in high school?
Yeah.
That kind of never went away. And so I'm crushed. I've never been fired before.
Oh, it's brutal.
Yeah, it's brutal. I feel like I let my family down. I feel like I let the community down. This is a small town.
Right.
15,000 people, and we've got 850 employees just in Defiance.
Oh, my.
1,500 company-wide. So we're the second largest employer in town. And everybody knows that, I'm one of the main guys there.
So
and
now
I'm very involved in the community. And
everybody knows you got whacked, too.
absolutely.
Oh, my.
And, in my head, I'm thinking the business will never survive, never. 2 days later, people don't even remember. Did you work here? It's not part of their life. They don't care who's leading the ship. People liked me, but they're like, enough already.
So wait a minute. You're saying that this was the best the worst and the best. So we got to the worst.
Yeah,
so
that
what
was the
happened
worst.
with the best part?
The best is it just created then this opportunity that I've been able to, work myself into now, and that's investing in small businesses.
Well, hold on. There was one thing, and I just need to back up slightly. You and I talked about the fact that you were just getting paid and you're just kind of going along. And as you grew the company and the private equity and everything else, at one point they said, "Hey, we want to make you a part owner in this thing." And you and I talked about the fact that, hey, we're just kind of stupid and happy and we're just making a good amount of money and it's all good. But then once you got some equity ownership, it started to open your eyes as to what was kind of possible.
Yeah, and really the ownership came in increments, but came from the initial purchase of the business from private equity.
Right.
And then increments beyond that. But yeah, you begin to think
Differently.
Yeah, for sure.
But my point is that you have started to think differently, right? So you're the CPA, then you get in there and you're really working hard and changing things. Private equity buys it. You have some equity in it, and now you get fired. But over the last, let's say 5 or whatever, 10 years, you're working crazy hard and your whole mind is opened up.
Yep.
So you come from a small town.
Yep.
You really don't have these big plans. You kind of fell into it. You worked hard. Now you know this equity thing, and your mind is just opened up.
It opened significantly. I mean, we opened a plant in China, so I spent time in China. We spent a lot of time in Mexico. We had customers in Mexico. We looked at buying a business in Brazil, so I spent a lot of time in Brazil. We didn't buy it, but
a town from 15,000.
I know it.
To China and Mexico
it's
and
crazy
Brazil.
Because I lived less than a mile from where I graduated from college.
Did you marry your high school sweetheart?
No.
Oh.
I married my college sweetheart.
Oh, well, Defiance College.
There you go.
The college of 400 people or whatever.
1,000. Come on.
But think about this, and that's the one thing we keep telling people, is to open your mind and to the exposure and what money can do and how you can look at the world differently. And so now you just got fired and you're just like, holy crap, how could they ever fire me? And
I was devastated. I was devastated. And I drove home that day, long drive. Denny and I didn't talk.
You guys didn't share secrets or recipes or anything like that?
He didn't know what to say. He felt terrible.
Of course he did.
I felt worse.
Well, I was asking who was driving because my dad was telling me a story one time about he had a sales manager that had to deal with a sales rep out. I think it was on the West Coast, and he sent him out there. He goes, "I want you to work with him, but if he doesn't do this, or this, you got to get rid of him. You got to fire him." So they're going through the sales calls all day, driving around doctors' offices and stuff, and then at the very last visit afterwards, he's like, the guy's driving the sales manager.
Oh, right? No.
He goes, "Oh, by the way, this isn't working. We're gonna have to, this is gonna be your last day, and I'm gonna take your demonstrations kit and blah blah blah." And the guy goes, pulls off the side of the road, says,
Get out.
He goes,
jeez.
Well, he goes, "If I don't work here anymore, I don't have to worry about you."
Scorched earth. I love it. Get out.
So
did he?
Yep, he got out. He had to find, and that was back before cell
And he
phones.
put up the thumb.
Yeah,
and he just said, "Hey,"
with his case, with the instruments, lugging them. Damn it!
I love this.
So that's why you're asking.
That's why I was asking. I was wondering, Denny's like,
let's see.
But Denny's happy.
I don't. Yeah, Denny.
He kept his job.
He did feel bad for.
No, he felt bad, but
I feel bad,
but he's happy that
he's got his job, and he's like, "I'll drive you home, sure."
Yeah, exactly. So we pull into my driveway. My wife was calling me all the way home, and I wasn't answering because I wanted to tell her face to face. Pull in my driveway. She comes out of the house. What's going on? She can tell on my face something not good is going on. And I said, "I got fired." She goes, "Oh, come on." I said, "I got fired."
Make sure to come back next week as we finish our discussion in our limited series about successful individuals telling their stories in their own words.